Here we go. The title topic for our discussion tonight is an emergency message for our black single mothers. Now, why would I do this? What is the emergency? And what do our black single mothers need to know that they don't know? Well, it's become clear to me in 5 years as a criminal defense attorney, 10 years working in black youth empowerment, and after writing 2 books aimed at black youth, that our black single mothers don't understand how serious this situation is, and they don't understand that their young boys are the targets of a massive attack to destroy them, to impoverish them, and to make sure they're nothing more than inmates, drug heads, failures that are gender confused and no threat to society. And by society, I mean white society. All right, so that's why we had to do this message. And joining me in this message, I got at him again. Can y'all see him? Lean in, Vern.
What's up, people?
Chap. And I got my boy Said Sadiq.
Hi, guys.
Yeah, he's sitting a little back there. Now, one thing about me, I always keep some black youth around me. I think they use me for food. I think they're using me for food and a place to play their video games. But hey, I'd rather they be rolling around with me than doing some of the other things that they could be doing. So I keep these black soldiers around me. If they're going to be around me, they're going to get this information and they're going to spread this information. So let's start off with number 1 on the list. Would America really want to attack and destroy young black males? Am I being paranoid? Is this something I made up? Are we being too woke? Are we being too conscious? Are we being conspiracy theorists? Would America really want to attack and destroy young black males? That sounds pretty far out to some people. What you say, Zeke?
I say, yeah, America does want to attack young black males.
Why? Why would you say that?
Because they know the power that young black males have. And if they let that come out and let them use it, then they won't be in control anymore.
They won't be in control. He said power and control. 2 key words, power and control. Said Sadiq, what do you believe?
Well, of course they want to attack black malehood and stuff like that. Because if they have a wife and then a family, the community grows more and more, and then it will be more black community, then more stuff they got to take aim for.
So the community, the family would birth the community and more power for black people. Okay, well, good. See, these young boys have a good grasp on this. Now, the fact is that, yes, America, they were both right. America does want to destroy the young black male. And why are we focusing on the male instead of the female? Because, you know, we have queens in training, BPM queens in training for life. We're not just about the black boys. But on this topic, we are. Because whenever a people wants to control, marginalize, and pretty much wipe out another people, history has shown that they know they have to start with the males, the young males. Even the Bible tells you that when a king wants to ensure that this group doesn't rise up, they don't unite, they don't get together, they make sure they take out the males, because the males are the most rebellious. The males have the testosterone. The males are prone to fight. The males are prone to resist what's going on. I got young boys in BPM that just fight for no reason. That's how men are, right? They know who are the warrior class. They know who poses the threat. And so they know they have to keep the young black male completely non-threatening, right? Now, one example that I thought of when I was coming up with this lesson was apartheid in South Africa. In South Africa, you have a nation that's majority black, that's controlled all, I won't say almost, all by white people, Europeans, foreigners, that control the diamond mines, that control the gold mines, that control the economy, that control the politics. And when they came in there, they didn't want to integrate. They set up a system that put blacks at the bottom, right? And when they did that, the most threatening person to them was a man by the name of Mandela. And when they were at war with Mandela, it's because Mandela was a rebellious, strong, young black man who wasn't going to bow, right? So when you know you're coming in with some horrible intent, you got to get rid of those boys, because you don't want to be fighting every day. You know what I'm saying? You want this to be easy. You want it to be easy. And so you take aim at the biggest threat that there is, and that's the young males. Now, why else would America want to destroy our boys? And not only America, the whole world. I had a quote here from Napoleon, the French war general. I read a quote yesterday, and he essentially said that they weren't fighting against Haiti for economic reasons or for political reasons or strategic reasons, anything of that nature. They were fighting so hard against Haiti under Toussaint and then Dessalines because they wanted to stop the march of the black man, the black people, for all of the future. Meaning, we don't want them to know their power. We don't want them to know that what they can achieve. We got to stamp this out, because if they win independence, this could spill over into other areas. Other black people might get ideas, and that's not what we need. So America, for those reasons, along with this, I want every single mother that's watching this to write this term down and go back and Google it. Population control. Population control. Population control. Right? Write that term down and go back and Google it. The Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, the Vanderbilts, the most wealthy and well-connected families in this country with all of the political power, they have always been concerned and they have always been obsessed with controlling the population. Now, this is the reason that they give you. They say that the earth only has limited resources, and that if there are too many people, we will exhaust the earth's resources and then we will all perish. So we have to keep populations down, right? We have to keep populations down. We don't want too many people exhausting the earth's resources. But they don't seek to control the white population. They seek to control what Margaret Sanger would call unfavored races, right? And this is where we get to the root of it. Margaret Sanger, now that's another person who I want you black single mothers to Google, because Margaret Sanger would be what I call the mother of Planned Parenthood, and I would just call her the mother of murdering black babies. That's what I call her. Y'all remember we talked about her? Mm-hmm. All right. Margaret Sanger said that black people were like weeds that needed to be exterminated. Us. Bill Gates is in on it too. That's right, C-Dub 45. Bill Gates is definitely in on it. And those immunizations that he's pushing in Africa. Yeah, that's the next thing. But we'll get to that later. All right. Margaret Sanger said that the black race is like weeds and they need to be exterminated. And she said that we don't want them to get word that we want to exterminate them. And so we'll couch what we're doing in terms of family planning, right? That doesn't sound so scary, does it? Well, what if I told you that family planning really meant a late-term abortion where a young black girl comes into this office and she, instead of giving her any sort of advice, you just say abort the baby. So you ram metal tools up into her, snap the spinal column of the baby that leads up into his neck, suck the baby out with a vacuum, put it in a damn jar and sell it. What if I told you that's what family planning meant?
Sounds a lot more scary.
Yeah, it's a little bit different than what they say, right? That's called a late-term abortion. A fully formed, living, breathing baby, neck snapped with a metal tool, sucked out with a vacuum, put in the damn jar, and sold to some more white liberals. Now, how about that? Right? Because their true aim is not to preserve the earth's resources, because we have enough food to feed everybody on this earth. We throw away tons and tons of food. We pay farmers not to farm and plant crops. If we paying farmers not to plant crops in Iowa, how the hell do we have a food shortage? Do you see what I'm saying, Zeke? Okay, now Margaret Sanger, white supremacist, Planned Parenthood, abortion. Write all those terms down. And I'm going to give you another one. Nazis. The Nazi movement didn't die off with Adolf Hitler. And I like the Nazi movement because they're honest. You see what I'm saying? I love them. I love seeing them throw up their symbols. I love because they tell you what they think. Let me tell you about the Nazis. I was watching a documentary the other day. And there were Nazis, and I believe it was Russia. It was either Russia, Poland, somewhere like that. And the documentarian asked him, he said, why are you doing all this fight training? You're doing mixed martial arts. You're lifting these weights. You got these firearms. What the hell are you getting ready for? What the hell are you getting ready for? What are you doing? And this is what the neo-Nazis said. And this is the true root. This is the true root of population control, not me running out of food, water, and air. This is the true root. The neo-Nazis said, whites only make up 7% of the world's population, meaning the other 93% are non-white, meaning we are at risk of annihilation, and the only way to even the odds is to start killing a lot of non-white people. What you think about that, Vern?
I mean, it sounds bad to us, but in their shoes, it make perfect sense.
Make perfect sense. Vern said in their shoes, it make perfect sense. Okay. So if the real aim of population control is not to make sure there's enough corn, water, air, and vegetables, if the real aim of population control is what the honest neo-Nazi said, then now you understand why they're coming after your boys, right? Because it's one thing that the black man can do to ensure that we don't go extinct, to ensure that they don't wipe us out, our population, and that is to get with a black queen and keep reproducing and raising kids and families, right? He can always do that, whether he's an Uncle Tom or anything. They got something for that too. They got something for that too. How can they stop the black man from reproducing without killing them, Zeke?
Turning against the black woman and making them gender confused.
So they got something for that now. Gender confused. All right. Where the Aryans were created. The Caucasus Mountains. The Aryans claim they came from... Adolf Hitler got these scientists together to claim that they came from this superior Nordic stock that was all blue-eyed. But Adolf Hitler didn't have blue eyes. And you know what? Adolf Hitler had Jewish ancestry. And so they made up their own science to make the Aryan race supreme until our black sprinters went over there. Who is that? Jesse Owens? Went over there and blew their ass out the water. And then that all went out the window. So now, we understand that, yes, Europeans, those in power, have concrete reasons to try to destroy our young black males. And as Zeke said, it may sound bad to you, but it makes perfect sense to them. Do you see what I'm saying? All right, now, for all of you mothers that would say, because I run into this often, my son is good, he doesn't get in trouble, he does what I say, he's all right, he's safe. I don't have to worry about him. I'm doing a good job. I have a good son. We good to go. We don't need all this BPM, all this black community, all this black nationalism. My son is good. In a good school, doesn't sag his pants. He's good. He's safe. What do you say to that, Sadiq?
Well, those women are clearly brainwashed.
Brainwashed? Those women are brainwashed? Why would you say they were brainwashed?
Because if they don't have a man, of course they ain't gonna try to make their son act manly. They want the mom to be in control of them. Be like, I got them. I don't need no man. I take care of my own son.
Okay, so he's talking about the mothers who feel like they got it all under control and don't need any male influence. Okay, what do you say, Vern?
I would say that's obviously it's incorrect because it doesn't matter how good of a black man you are, what your criteria is. Anything you have, as long as you're black, they still see you as a threat. So they're going to try to eliminate you.
Well, baby, there you go. Vern said, regardless of how good that black boy is that you're raising, he's still seen as a threat by this society. Now somebody needs to write that down. You about to make me jump ahead. Well, I'm here. I'm not jumping ahead. Vern said, regardless of how good you think your black son is doing, regardless of how respectful and humble you think he is, regardless if you got him on all polo shirts, khakis, and Sperry shoes, right, with a nice belt, he's not going to sag. They still going to see him as a threat. And the moment he loses track of the fact that they're going to see him as a threat, he's done. Because no matter how articulate, educated, well-dressed a black man is, he is not viewed as a white person, and he cannot assimilate, and he's not going to be treated like a black person. Can I prove this? All right, I'm going to give y'all another name. Write this down. Richard Hollins. I don't know if y'all heard about Richard. I'm going to give it to you again. Richard Hollins. You got that, the blessed one? Richard Hollins. Richard Hollins, young black male, college student at Bowie State, on track to graduate within a few days. He was visiting another college. I believe it was in Maryland.
Yeah, I think it was in Maryland.
He was visiting that college, and not only was he on track to graduate, he was a commissioned lieutenant in the military. Do you see? Commissioned lieutenant in the military, stand-up kid, clean cut. All of his pictures, he looked like he was just cut to be clean. You see what I'm saying? Okay. Hollins thought he was safe, just like I was saying some of these moms say. Hollins was out at a college in Maryland. He was hanging with two of his friends. I believe one was an Asian and one was white. Right? He's safe. College. He's in college, about to graduate. Good kid. No tattoos, no drug money, no pit bulls, no nothing. Right? Safe. Well, when Hollins was standing at the bus stop with his two friends, a white Nazi from the alt-right, a white racist, a white supremacist, decided to walk up to him and stab him to death in front of his friends, and he died. Right? This happened just maybe 2 weeks ago. Right? Richard Hollins. Go ahead and Google him. So this good kid who's on the right path in life, gonna go serve his country, dead, stabbed to death by a white supremacist. And so he's sitting here with his Asian friend and his white friend. And so this is why BPM teaches self-defense. This is why BPM trains our boys to be warriors. This is why BPM trains our boys to be prepared. Because first of all, the BPM boy wouldn't have been standing up there with no Asian and no white person. Now, how about that? Yeah, the BPM boy would have been standing up there with 3 other black soldiers. Right? And as soon as this son of a bitch tried one damn move, his ass would have been beaten to the damn ground. But we ain't gonna get that far yet. Y'all about to get me a little bit angry before I have to go into that. So you got this good, clean-cut guy stabbed to death. What you think, Sadiq?
Well, I think the guy should never been hanging around with them white people.
But what that got to do with it? They didn't stab him.
He was a target because where he was at, and I guess how that group was.
Well, he was a target because he was black. What you think, Vern?
Well, obviously he should have been around some more trustworthy people, and as well as I guess been practicing self-defense, because unless it was the very first stab wound was fatal, he could have, I guess, did something. I'm not sure. Yeah, and it was multiple stab wounds. So it wasn't like he just stabbed him in the neck one good time. It was multiple stab wounds. But that's my question. Now, all the blame is on the white supremacist. I'm not blaming the young black guy because he's not the killer. All the blame is on the white supremacist. But we know what white supremacists do, and we know how they think, and we all know that we always at risk. That's why I always advocate the Second Amendment. That's why I always... Now, I don't carry big Des every day, but I do sometimes when I feel like showing off. But in your home, you could have a Big Desmond, and even more so than Big Des, you could have a Mossberg, right? You can keep one of these in your truck. We just need to get it into our minds that we are all targets. And if we don't understand that, we're going to end up like Hollins. But my question is this. Number one, how do you get stabbed multiple times in front of your friends? Right? As soon as the guy starts stabbing, why somebody didn't bust him over the head? You see what I'm saying? Where I'm from, right? If somebody just walk up and start trying to kill your homie, you beat the hell out of that guy till you knock the knife out of his hand. You don't stand there and let your friend get stabbed to death. Nah, keyword I just said, friend. Because as Dr. John Henry Clark, what does John Henry Clark say about friends, Zeke? Black people have no friends.
We have no friends. Right? Now, if I was standing there or with Vern, and this guy came up to stab me, let's just say I was on Instagram and I didn't see him coming. If he got one stab in me, Vern would have hit this guy so damn hard we'd have had to call the ambulance to help him up off the ground. Do you see what I'm saying? And we wouldn't have called shit. Nah, how about that? So, Richard Hollins. Now, let's go to Philando Castillo. We're still on the question of what if I have a good kid? Philando Castillo was one of the best, most upstanding black men ever killed. You see that? He was one of the best, most honest, most loving black men ever killed by racists. How about that? This man worked at an elementary school in the cafeteria. Everyone loved him. He wasn't a felon. He wasn't out committing any crimes. He had his woman and his little daughter in the back seat. They loved him at his school, trusted their kids around him. Great guy. White supremacists, and don't get twisted about this, Asians are white, so-called Hispanics are white. Where's Spain? It's in Europe. Well, don't get confused with all this. If it's not African, it's white. Arab's white. If it's not African, if it's not black, African is white. Okay. Castillo, great guy. In the car with his woman and his daughter, white supremacist come and blows him away. So, on Facebook Live, just like we are right now, on Facebook Live. Right? So, being good don't save you. And Jordan Davis. Now, this happened right here in Jacksonville. Great kid, never been in no trouble. Mom and his dad don't wear baggy pants. White supremacist Michael Dunn said, turn the music down. He probably said, turn your music down, nigger. And Jordan said no. And he blew Jordan Davis away. So just because your son is a good kid and you feel like you're doing a good job, that doesn't mean he's safe in this system. That's rule number one to black mothers. So what you need to do, black mothers, you need to make sure that your son is a conscious warrior. What do I mean by that? Conscious. I'm not talking about conscious like these guys who sit around and read 1,800 books, start a debate on Instagram, claim that they're vegetarians, but they really eat chicken wings, and try to dress like a revolutionary and gonna bust a damn grape. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about conscious, as in he understands his relationship with God. He understands his relation to his ancestors, and he understands this society. And he understands where he fits in this society. Because young black males have never been accepted in this society. They've never been viewed with grace in this society. And our children need to know that. Right? So you need to make him aware. We were bought here as prisoners of war. Before we got here, we built the most magnificent empires that you could ever think of. We weren't bone in your nose, what they call booty scratchers in Africa. We were nation builders and family builders, right? And we were brought here as prisoners of war, and ever since then we've been at war. Now, if your son doesn't know that, if you telling your son just work hard and pull your pants up, you're setting him up to be killed, because that's not how simple this society is, right? That's not how simple this society is. So make sure that he's aware of how this society functions. He's aware of white supremacy, and he's aware of the mandates of manhood from his ancestors. You black single mothers have to do that. Now, I'm not going to get on the deadbeat dads today, because that's what I spend all my time on. I'm just talking what you need to do, since we're in this situation where black single mothers are having to raise boys. Now, once you make sure he's conscious, you have to make sure he's a warrior. Because you could become conscious and become an Uncle Tom. How could that work? How could that happen, Zeke? Any idea?
Become an Uncle Tom? Well, you see that the way to move up the political, social, and economic ladder is to just be subservient. So you do that as opposed to being rebellious just so you could be better off in America.
There you go. Baby, you just hit the nail on the head. When you become conscious of what's going on, just like Zeke said, now you see, you know and realize they don't want no strong, black, masculine, independent, outspoken males. So instead of saying, I'm going to go off and be independent, I'll work for myself and do for myself, you say, I'm going to fit in. Vern explained it perfectly. Right? So the next step after you make him conscious is to make sure he's a warrior. Because a subservient, bootlicking, weak-kneed, timid black man That's nobody that we need for our daughters. That's nobody that's going to be good at leading a family. Matter of fact, that's the guy who won't ever own a gun. And if somebody kicks in his door to rob his house, he'll be screaming over there, acting worse than the woman. The woman will probably have to defend the place. Because he's been so used to bowing down, and that saved him. So when they kick down the door, he bows down again and get blowed the hell away. We do not need any more wimps. That's the last thing we need. Marcus Garvey said, I wish I would have had more of these black women instead of these wimpy men. That's what Marcus Garvey said. We don't need any more wimps. So, if you want to prepare your son for this society, you make sure he's conscious and you make sure he's a warrior. And this is the last thing. And this goes for single mothers and mothers with a man in the household, with a dad in the household. That's not enough either. Ooh, I bet that's hard to say. You don't even understand why I would say that as much as I advocate the family. But Sadiq, why would I say that even a black male with a good black mom and dad is still subject to the indoctrination and the influences in this country? Why would I say that, Sadiq?
Probably if you said because mainly the whole family is in danger.
The whole what?
The whole family's probably in danger.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, if the mom is still a single mother.
No, I ain't talking about single mothers now. I'm talking about mom and a dad.
What's part of dad might not be woke and not teaching his son.
Well, that's it. Nah, I didn't even think about that because that dad might not be woke. Okay, good point. What you say, Zeke? Let's say the mom and the dad woke.
I feel like it still takes a community and a village to raise a child. And the places where the mom might come up slacking and the dad might come up slacking, somebody like an auntie or grandma would be able to pick up the slack and prepare that child to the higher level that he or she needs to be on.
What's up, Gerald Lumpkin? Still got Big O in his profile picture. Shout out to Big O. R.I.P. Big O. Both of them are absolutely right. Now, Sadiq raised the point that I didn't think of. Just because you got a dad in the house, that don't mean he's conscious or aware. Hey, I had a dad in my house sometimes, and he was snorting powder, attacking my mom, and drinking liquor. So just because you got a dad, that doesn't mean your son's good to go. But what I was going for was what Zeke said. It still takes a village. I know in my years of working with BPM, I've had parents come to me and say, we're doing everything we can. I'm talking about married parents. We're teaching them, we're rewarding them, we're trying to incentivize them because the peer group. Now this is what y'all got to understand, single mothers. Your son's peer group can out-influence you. So if you're teaching your son every day, God, family, education, community, hard work, discipline, present yourself well. But he's going to school hanging out with 2 young thugs, 3 young Gottis, and 4 Uzi Verts. Whatever you're saying is going to get, it could be crushed, thrown out the window, and forgotten about. Right? And that's why BPM is so powerful, right? That's why I wrote this book. Let me get Big Daz out of the way. That's why I wrote this book. The Blueprint for Black Youth Empowerment. Because I'm teaching people how to go out and start organizations like BPM. Because in BPM, when you bring me your kid, well, not me, us, he's going to be surrounded by a peer group that is awoke, right? So whereas the kid would have been at school and they would have been saying, you need to sag your pants, get you some gold teeth, and get you some rims and a car and a white girl. When he at BPM, they're saying, you need to know God. You need to get you a black queen. You need to focus on how you're going to get yourself prepared to be economically independent. We ain't giving you no cool points for sleeping around. What's up, Frazier Jamani? When you at BPM, you have a peer group that this is what we call reverse peer pressure. We're not pressuring you into doing the wrong thing. We're pressuring you into doing the right thing. Do you know your history? Right, young man, do you know your history? That's the only way you're going to get some cool points with us. So, I want to let you parents know that you have to make your son conscious, you have to make him a warrior, and you have to surround him with peers. Don't let this boy be hanging out with any old thing because that's going to influence him. And I'm going to get to that in a second. Now, let's go to my next point. Now that I've proven to you that this people in power have serious Vern. What's up, lady? We got some of those young queens in training in the house. Now that I've shown you why they would attack the young black male, now that I've shown you that even the good black males, the Tiger Woods, you saw him just get arrested the other day, why they aren't safe, we're going to go through some of the routes through which they attack our young black boys, what you have to watch out for as black parents. And again, these routes are outlined in detail in my book. And so I'm not going to go into everything, but we're going to hit some major points. The number one route is miseducation. What does miseducation mean to you, Sadiq?
Miseducation part means black kids getting taught, but not getting taught the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like white history and not the real history.
Mm-hmm. That's big. History is definitely huge. You got anything to add to that, Vernon?
I feel like it's purposeful teaching that drives someone away from the truth, especially black kids.
Purposeful teaching that drives someone away from the truth. And as Sadiq said, from his true history and toward white history. Now these boys off the chain now. See what BPM can do? See what I'm saying? Now I didn't script that. I just asked them some things, but we've been training them for a few years now. Okay. Black mothers, you have to understand that your black sons are being miseducated. As Vern said, purposefully miseducated. Black children in the schools are taught that Europe, in their history courses and geography and all the things that they taught about the world, they taught that European culture is superior, that all of civilization came from Greece, and they aren't taught anything about their African history or who they are, right? Now let's just think about it. If I sit you in a class for a whole year and I teach you how great Becky is, how things her people have done, and all of her great achievements, and I don't even mention you and your ancestors, how the hell are you going to walk out that class feeling, Vern?
Miseducated.
Miseducated. Okay. Now let's take it a step further. If I sit you in this class for a year, I teach you all about how great Becky is, and I teach you about Greece, Rome, I teach you about Alexander the Fake, I teach you about Hippocrates the plagiarist. I teach you about all these people, Greek philosophy, Plato, Socrates. I teach you about all these people. I'm not only not mention yours, but if I ever do bring them up, I say that they had smaller brain sizes, right? That they were tribal, that they didn't wear clothes, and that the European came there and civilized them. So not only do I not teach you about your people, if they ever do come up, it's something negative. Do you see? And I tell you that when you're in geometry, this came from Greece. When you're in trigonometry, this came from Greece. When you're in philosophy, this came from Greece. And you can interpret the word Greece as white people. I just tell you this over and over again. This is what your kids are being taught at school. They're not being taught about who they are as black children. They're being taught this Eurocentric curriculum that's supposed to be non-biased and just universal, but it's definitely not, right? And so not only are they not being educated, they're being miseducated. This in the public schools. Now, Boatwright just mentioned music and all of that. We're going to get to that in a second. But let's focus on the schools right now. Another aspect of miseducation, not only do they not learn their history, they never learn anything about being independent business owners. Write that down. Nothing. I went to school for 12 years to a public school. Vern went for 12. He just graduated. Y'all give him a hand. Sadiq is going to the 8th grade. I've never got a lesson about how to start a business. LLC. Limited liability. I never got a lesson about this. Did you, Vern?
No.
I never got a lesson about marketing products. I never got a lesson about supply versus demand. I never got a lesson about how you register this business with the government, tax deductions. I never got a lesson about that. Have you, Sadiq?
Not at all.
So, if not only you miseducate me about who my people are, my ancestors, our accomplishments, you training me to just be an employee for white people. Right? That's miseducation. Because in BPM, we don't teach you to work hard, go out and get a job. We teach you to work hard, get smart, go out and start your own business so you can employ yourself and employ your own people. But they don't teach that at school. That ought to tell you that the schools aren't good for us. Lumpkin is right. Good trained workers. Shout out to Ebony Bella, one of the best BPM parents we got. But I haven't seen the Warrior Scholar in a few weeks. Where's my children? I'm going to take you to court for keeping my children away from BPM. Nah. All right. Nothing about business ownership, and these schools are underfunded. Now, black mothers, I want you to think about this in homeschooling. The schools in the black neighborhoods are, Coach Corndog just said homeschool. I'm with it 100% if you're ready to do it. The schools in the impoverished areas, all public schools are funded off property taxes. The Supreme Court have ruled, so if they let's get this out first. If they funded off property taxes, and wherever our schools are, there's home ownership is not high. There's a lot of renting, and they're not any expensive homes. That means the property taxes are going to be very low. Meaning that school is not going to have a lot of funds. But wherever the rich people stay, when I was in Orlando, this would be Olympia. I don't know if that's still the richest school, but Olympia was big balling back then. Wherever the rich people stay, their schools are going to have swimming pools, gymnasiums, theaters, astronomical observatories, everything you want, right? So the Supreme Court has said that's fair. So if I'm spending $1,000 a year to educate Zeke and $20 a year to educate Sadiq, that's okay. Supreme Court they've legitimized that. So I think we did enough about the public schools for right now. And I hope the music comes. Yeah, the music and everything is going to come back in later. So I'm going to get to what you said, Bo, right? Now, so that's the number one attack, miseducation. Would y'all agree that that's number one?
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Sadiq?
Yes, sir.
I don't think that's number one. I don't think that's number one. Hey, parents, write this term down. Hand me that book by Michelle Alexander. Right there.
What?
New Jim Crow.
Oh.
This book will teach you all about mass incarceration, slavery, the new Jim Crow. Now, black single mothers, if you're listening now, or if you get this on YouTube later, I want you to get this book. But she wrote it like a lawyer because this woman is so brilliant. She only writes one way, and she writes like a lawyer. So maybe it might be tough for some people to grasp because she's a professor and a lawyer, and she's brilliant. So it's some people have told me it's tough to read it. It's probably my favorite book ever, one of them at least. And so what I'm going to tell you is this. I'm going to sum it up. Slavery never went away. Jim Crow never went away. It just came back in another form, which is called the American prison system. And the main targets of slavery, Jim Crow, lynching, convict lease, were your black males, and they still are today. I'll sum it up for you like that. Now, this is how I'm going to prove this. When I talk about miseducation and when I talk about mass incarceration and the war on drugs, because they go hand in hand. Once in America, black males were needed because they were working for free. They were good, hard workers, and they were working for free. That kind of ended a little bit with the Emancipation Proclamation. And then we went into the convict lease system where we found a way to put them back in prison and make them work for free. Then that kind of died off, but then we had Jim Crow, and we had segregation and things of that nature, which wasn't all bad, by the way. But the system came back to say, no, we don't want them living in their own communities, having their own businesses and their own families. We got to find a way to make them work for free. And since we can't put them on plantations like we used to, we can find a new plantation. New plantation. And what's that new plantation, Vern?
Jail, prison.
The prison. Right? And so they said, but wait, how can we find an excuse to lock up more and more of these young black boys? How can we find an excuse? Because they're not, the white kids do just as many crimes as the black kids. The white kids are doing the mushrooms and the acid and the weed and the hippies. How can we find a way to lock up all the black kids, specifically target them and get them back on the plantation? Ronald Reagan. Well, not Ronald first, Richard Nixon and them, but Ronald Reagan took it to another level. I got an idea. The war on drugs, right? We will get our political pundits, we will get our marketing strategists, we will tell everyone that drugs are, crack cocaine is an epidemic sweeping the country. We'll show some black crack mothers and crack babies. We'll get everyone behind us, and that'll give us the impetus to go into the black community, kick down doors, round up black boys, lock their ass up, and put them back to work for free. Right? The war on drugs. Now, some people, again, I want the black single mothers to understand this. Police are not unbiased. Okay? Take it from me. I'm an attorney, a black one. And then when I go in the courtroom, I have to tell them, get out my way, I'm an attorney. They're talking about where you going. I'm an attorney. They're not unbiased. Judges. I might not want to say this. I'll just put it like this. Sentencing is not fair and unbiased. All right? All right? Every step in the criminal justice system, from what areas they patrol to who goes to prison and who goes the longest, none of it is unbiased. Right? So let's get that out your head. And I want to prove this to you. I want to give you some solid examples, black single mothers, so that you could know that I'm not lying to you. Now, example number one. Michelle Alexander will show you in the book. When they declared the war on drugs, check this out. The day they declared the war on drugs, drug use was not going up, it was going down. Now, check out the book. I should have had the page number so I can give it to you. I'll post it later. The statistics show that at the time Reagan started pushing this war on drugs, drug use was not going up, it was going down. So why the hell are you declaring a war when the problem is already there's no serious epidemic? Right? That ought to say something. Maybe that doesn't convince you that they're after your boys. Okay, well, let's go to the next one. Out of all the black drug dealers I've known in life, and I've known a lot, Vern has known a lot. Sadiq, I don't know. He's from Texas. He's from Texas. I don't know if he knew anybody over there. But out of all the black drug dealers I know, not one has had an airplane or a ship to bring in cocaine from Colombia or Venezuela or anywhere in South America. What about you, Vern? You ever know one? No. I don't know some dope boys now. Talking about they got the rims on their car. They got the fighting dogs. They got everything. They ain't got no damn boats. What about you, Sadiq? No. I don't even know nobody now that got a boat. I ain't got a boat, and I'm a lawyer. That tells me that cocaine, which is not being grown in America, is being bought into America by somebody else. Right? So if the cocaine is being bought into America by somebody else, why are all the black guys in prison? Do you see? Now, I know all the black guys are in prison. I knew it before I read the new Jim Crow because I went to visit my daddy in prison. And I was looking around like, wow, all the guards white, all the nurses white, all the staff white, and all the inmates black. Okay, now we getting somewhere. Well, when I tell you somebody else was bringing in the drugs to the community, who you think I was talking about, Zeke?
The government.
The baby! Did you read the new Jim Crow?
Yeah,
some of it. Okay. At the same time that Ronald Reagan is talking about it's a war on drugs, do you know the U.S. government, Oliver North, Iran, well, just Google Oliver North and Iran Contra scandal. They were bringing in the cocaine. Bringing it in. They were bringing it in. The government. Now, do you believe me? It's a plot against your boys. We're going to declare war on drugs when there's no drug epidemic, but we're going to create one by bringing in the drugs ourselves. But we're not going to lock up ourselves. We're going to lock up the black boys for it. Nah, don't take my word for it, because I know this might sound a little bit outrageous. Just go Google Oliver North, Iran-Contra scandal, and U.S. admission of importing cocaine. The U.S. government was bringing in cocaine to the streets, and it started in California when they wanted to drown out the Black Panthers, and it spread all over the country. So maybe that will convince you that they're going after your boys. I want you to know that they're targeting black boys specifically, not just all boys, not just all youth. Now, I got 2 more examples to prove this. Now, I can tell you for a fact that they're only targeting the black boys, and this is how. The SWAT teams that Nancy and Ronald Reagan put out on the streets with the army tanks and the battering rams and the military equipment, they went straight to the black neighborhoods, right? Did you ever see them busting down the door in the suburbs, Vern? I've been to the suburbs. I know they didn't bust down the door in the suburbs because they got a gated around the whole neighborhood, right? Well, this is where else they didn't go. I went to a white college in the Midwest called the University of Iowa. Michelle Alexander talked about this type of thing in her book. I would go to parties there, and I would party with white people. That's all that were there. And I would go in expecting to drink some vodka, and have a good time, turn up. But back then it was get crunk, right? It was get crunk. And I was turning around, and the European students, they would have lines of cocaine on the table. And I would say, wait a minute, whoa. Where I'm from, if you do cocaine, they call you a crackhead. We don't make a distinction, do we? If you do cocaine, you're a crackhead. Not in white America. These kids would be snorting powder from sundown to sun back down. And not one police would kick down the damn door. I almost called the police myself. Right? If they really were looking for cocaine, they wouldn't go to the black community. You drinking moonshine and smoking crack. Who is that? Christian Wade. Is that a European? Because I might have to go block him. But anyway, if they were really looking for drugs, come on, man. All they had to do is go to the University of Iowa, Illinois, UNI, UF. When did I tell they had a drug bust at UF? Mm-hmm. They ain't gonna drug bust nothing but football players because they black. You know what I'm saying? They black. So lady in the kitchen, where all the guns coming from? What the hell that got to do with the conversation?
I get reported.
That's what I'm saying. Take your ass on somewhere. All right. So they never go to the black college. Now I'm gonna finish it off with this. Today in America, listen to me now. Today in America, we are in a real drug epidemic. You believe me, Vern?
Huh.
We're in a real drug epidemic. I won't say we. There's a large group of people in a drug epidemic in America. And it's not crack and it's not marijuana.
Oh, yeah, I know it.
It's called meth. Right? These people are addicted to these prescription drugs. They overdose on them, and when they can't get them no more, they're trying to make this stuff in their own garages, and it's killing people. It's killed more people than crack cocaine ever did. It's statistically the worst epidemic ever when it comes to drugs. I'm talking about a real epidemic now. And no war on drugs. No war on drugs. You know what they said about this epidemic? Heroin. You know what they said about this epidemic, Vern?
No.
They said these people need treatment. Well, why you think they said that, Vern?
Because they're the white people?
Because they white. Baby. Right? When they're talking about crack, lock them up. Mandatory minimum. Life sentences. Kingpin laws. RICO laws. We got to bring out the SWAT team. We might need to bring in the military. No, it was a Noriega. But then they got to the black guys like Ricky Ross. And what was the other one in New York going overseas to get the drugs and bring it back? They made sure that American Gangster, they made sure they got him up. But now that it's heroin and meth and these prescription drugs, they just need treatment. Right? They're not bad kids. They're not monsters. They're not animals like Hillary Clinton called them. They're not super predators. But when they do drugs, they just need treatment. If we do drugs, we need to be locked the hell away for life. So, black single mothers, I gave you all that information just to let you know that mass incarceration, the war on drugs, is all aimed at your boys. So that's the second attack. Miseducation, mass incarceration, and now we're going to talk about the next one. And they play right into each other. Prescription drugs. Putting our kids on medication. Okay, let's talk about it. Black boy go to class. He might be doing pretty bad. He might be acting up. He might be dropping his pencil on the ground over and over. He might be making jokes. He might be talking out. He might not want to sit still. Frank White, that's who it was. Frank White. They call up his mom and they tell his mom, we have to put him on Ritalin or some other drug because he has a behavioral deficiency, ADHD. Well, parents, I'm going to tell you like Dr. Umar Johnson always says, ADHD just means ain't no daddy at home disease. And we could call it ain't no discipline at home disease. Because these kids do not need these drugs. These drugs do more harm than good. And if you go along with this, and this is the way they get you, you can get a little check for putting your kids on drugs. Let me tell the parents this. If the European calls you to an office and tells you you can get a drug for medicating your son, and you know your son is just being a regular boy, right? Just doing boy stuff. And you say, well, if I can get a check, let me try. You the dumbest son of a bitch son of a gun I ever seen. Because those drugs are going to have side effects that you never even dreamed of. Can I prove it? I've been working with black kids for the last 10 years. Every one of them that's on the medications have said to me, I hate taking these drugs. I don't feel right. I can't think. I feel like a zombie. My mom makes me take these drugs. I don't want to take it. I hate these drugs, Mr. Vernon. But my mom makes me take them. And I talk to the mom and they say, well, he can't behave without the drugs. I say, well, he behave every time he with me. Right? He behave every time he with me. All day. 2-3 days in a row. How the hell he can behave with me but not with you? Do you see? Now we're going to need the black man to step back into the picture. We're going to need these moms to enforce some discipline. But I'm just saying this to prove that these boys do not need these drugs. Nah, they don't need these drugs. And these drugs are doing more harm than good. It's another example I got from Dr. Umar. Dr. Umar says that they'll lock the black boy's daddy up for selling crack. Then they'll go put the boy on a prescription, talking about ADHD, containing the same drug as crack. Now, how that sound? Daddy, you go to prison. You were selling crack. Son, you were acting up. We're going to put you on crack. What? How that sound? That's in Dr. Umar's book. Hand me that book. That's Dr. Umar's book right there. The War Against Black Boys. A little back to the left. Right there. The next one.
Oh.
That one. Yeah. I suggest that all of you black parents read this. These psychotropic, mind-altering drugs, they're going to make your son be fit to be nothing but an inmate. Go out and get this from Dr. Umar. And if you can't understand it, just listen to a couple of his lectures, because he don't really write Ivory Tower in that book, but you should be able to understand it. Okay. So, yeah, that's enough. Prescription drugs, we're down to our last few points. What you think about the prescription drugs, Vern?
I agree that it's not necessary.
So why would they want to push that on our children?
Because, like you said, it make them brain dead, like zombies, and then they'll be fit for nothing but jail.
Nothing but jail. Sadiq, what you think about the prescription drugs?
Well, I think why the parents probably put them on there is because when they take their son to school and they getting teach by probably a white lady, they're not teaching the black boy enough, and then the son come home with bad grades, then the mom say, "Oh, I don't think he's learning very well. Let me put him on some stuff to make him a little bit smarter." And then he not acting smarter. All he is just quieter.
Damn. He don't get no smarter. He just quieter. He's just sitting over there lost. Good explanation, Sadiq. So basically what Sadiq said is that the moms are looking for an easy way out. But I'm not here to bash the moms because I know that the man is supposed to be there to do the discipline. Nah, anybody who don't like that, get the hell off my page. The man is supposed to be there to do the discipline. But what I'm saying is that medication is not the way out. You're going to jack that child up for years to come. And then they're going to be sterile. Right? A lot of these medications, again, that's in the book by Dr. Umar. You don't know that one of the side effects is that your son don't be able to have no kids from later on. Right? Yeah, you didn't know that. Listen to me, man. These drugs don't do any good. There's no scientific objective standards for when to put a child on drugs. You shouldn't be putting a 6-year-old, 7-year-old, 8-year-old on drugs anyway because he's too young to even evaluate. And I've had to argue this in courtrooms where the dad says, well, when the child is with me, he behaves. When the child is with me, he doesn't. Hey, I had a dad literally say, something getting ready to happen. I had a dad literally say, when the child is with me, he doesn't have ADHD. And he was telling the truth. Right? But the mom wanted to put the damn child on medication. So don't think that this we gotta fix this real quick. All right. We almost there. There we go. All right, we're coming back. We had to readjust the Instagram because they weren't. Tay Covington said that's the worst mistake she ever made as a parent. It's okay to make mistakes, just don't make them again. Because hey, doctor, these are new. They're coming with new attacks, and I'm going to get to their next new attack next, right? But that medication. That was a newer attack. They threw us a loop for that one. Hey, put your child on drugs. He'll be obedient. Shut the hell up. You're going to fry his brain. Right? Nah. Let's move to the next new attack. Because, as I say in my book, Garvey, Malcolm. Well, Malcolm did have to deal with this, but not in the way that we're doing against it now. The new attack that they're doing to our boys, and I want all you moms to get this, is gender confusion and emasculation. Yeah. Now the attack done escalated. In the past, they would try to paint our boys as violent thugs, convicts, they robbers and they killers, and they just thugs. Now, they won't even leave it at that because I can work with a thug because it's not hard to turn a thug into a soldier. Do you see? A real thug. Now they done gave us a new kind of thug. A young thug. Nah, they done said, look, we done incarcerated them, we done enslaved them, we done lynched them, we done drugged them, we done beat them, we done Rodney Kinged them, we done Trayvon Martin them. They still not done. The blacks are still reproducing faster than the whites. Uh-oh. Do you see the problem with that? I got 2 black babies running around in there right now. Only been married about 4.5, 5 years. We could do 1 a year if we felt like it. Right? The blacks, if you look at the birth rate statistics, the blacks were still reproducing faster than the whites. Uh-oh. Sounds like a problem, right? Because I told you what the neo-Nazis said at the beginning. Zeke, what did the neo-Nazis say?
That, they want to eliminate us? Everything that's not white?
About population control.
Oh, they said they were doing that for, to make sure we didn't use up our resources.
That's what they said, but what was the real reason?
Oh, because they was such a small percent of the population.
There we go. Well, if we know that the white supremacist is worried about numbers, and that's the only reason Trump won. Hey, let's go ahead and put this out there. Trump didn't win because gun control. Trump didn't win because of abortion. Trump didn't win because of trade deals or his sorry-ass businesses or his third wife or cheating. Let me stop going in on Trump because Trump a gangster. But Trump won for one reason. Because European Americans are in fear about becoming the minority. Right? And statistics have already tracked it out that they will soon be the minority in America if things continue this way. And Trump came along promising them, I will make sure you're never the minority. I will go hard on the blacks. I will go hard on the Mexicans. I will go hard on the Arabs. I will go hard on anything that's not white. That's why Trump won, right? That's why Trump won, because they worried about numbers. So if they worried about numbers, right? Mass incarceration couldn't stop us. We still reproducing. We're making these beautiful black babies like Journey. Mass incarceration couldn't stop us. Drug war couldn't stop us. Let me find a way to stop these black people from reproducing and stop them from forming these families. Because that's the only way we're going to do it. Right? That's the only way we're going to do it. And they came up with this idea that Dr. Francis Cress Wilson warned us about. Neely Fuller. That we have to turn the black male against the black woman. And if we want to take it to the fullest extent, we'll start convincing young black males that they should become black women. Right? So now let's finish them off. Let's finish them off. Do you see? Because they keep reproducing. One thing about us, we can reproduce. You can have us in the plantation and just throw us the pig guts. We'll make some babies and still raise them. You can have us segregated in the South dealing with the Klan. We'll form a black guard, protect ourselves, start a business, and raise the babies and still keep coming back. Right? You can have us in the ghetto. You can have us in the ghetto where you wanna say it's so violent and so bad. We'll still find a way to make it work. Right? If the black man and the black woman keep getting together. But if you take them apart, I'm going to block this Mike Larry dude. And I don't know who the hell this dumbass is. But I'm going to block him. I don't want to stop the show. But y'all know I stop this motherfucker to block somebody if they're that stupid. But I'm going to try to wait 5 more minutes. Okay. Throwing me off my train of thought. We're going to find a way to break this. And the way they're doing it now is they're confusing our boys. Right? Now, I made a post about this, and this is the greatest way to do population control you can ever think of, for 2 reasons. Z, how could effeminizing our boys and making them gender confused, what are the 2 main ways that could contribute to population control?
Well, obviously, if they gender confused and they are a woman, then they would, if they believe they are a woman, they would pursue men. Even though they are men, so they wouldn't be able to reproduce. Mm-hmm. And the other way is just turn them against black women.
Those are both ways. But I just think this is one thing. I think black single mothers in particular, and single black women overall, they should be pissed off about the effeminization of the black male. They should be pissed off about brothers living on the down low. They should be pissed off about black males deciding that they don't want a black woman, they would rather be with a black man. And this is why. With this increase in this effeminization and gender confusion, we done shot to the top of the AIDS rates. Right? The black woman is now being infected with HIV at higher rates than any other group in America. Right? We have so much AIDS in the black community that is worse than some third world countries. And the number one factor that nobody wants to talk about, they keep talking about just wear condoms. The number one contributing factor to this is that the men are going out having sex with men, sodomizing men, and then coming back to the women and giving it to the women. Right? The black women ought to be pissed off about this shit, but they not. They accepting it. Every damn picture I see on Instagram, you'll see 4 or 5 beautiful black women at a club somewhere, and you'll see their gay black male friend sitting in the picture looking just as feminine as them, and they supporting the shit like it's something funny. When it's the same reason we got more AIDS than any other community in the damn country, and then we just want to act like it's okay. Right? Black women ought to be pissed off about this, because they're not going out being promiscuous to get AIDS. They think they got a man, and he going out living on the down low, and he bringing it back to the house. Or he going to jail, doing it in jail, and bringing it back to the house. No, but we don't want to talk about that. Yeah, of course, if he's effeminized and he don't want to reproduce, he can't form a family, he's not going to produce no black kids. But what about the fact that he going to spread the AIDS epidemic and help kill us off even quicker? Yeah, nobody want to talk about that. What you think about that, Sadiq?
Well, of course they probably don't want to talk about that, because...
Why not, Sadiq? Because the white school curriculum, the white media, see, Boatwright was talking about the media, the music. Let me tell you something. I saw Monique go off on Oprah Winfrey, Tyler Perry, and Lee Daniels. And she cussed them out. And she told them that they could do some vile things because of how they had treated her. And in my mind, I said, this woman is really brave, because she's going up against the gay trifecta. These are the people that have been pushing the homosexual agenda on us with $1 million backing, $1 billion backing. I can't believe she's speaking out against them. That's what I thought, because we have been brainwashed. And this is what they brought Obama in for, to say, oh, it's okay. You gotta accept it. You gotta love everybody. Ain't nothing wrong. Yeah, you gotta have unity. We do not need unity in the black community. We need separation. Nah, make that a quote. All we need is separation. We need to separate from everybody that's not about the black man, woman, and child under a black God. We need to separate from everybody that's not about economic independence. We need to separate from everybody that's not about group self-defense. We need to separate. We need to separate from everybody that's not principled. We need to separate from everybody that says it's okay, we don't need a man and a woman. We can have three men or 3 women raise the damn children. We need to separate. So Elijah Muhammad said separate, and he was talking about separating from the European. I'm talking about separating from everybody with a European mindset. Yeah, we need separation, because this is a bunch of crap. And the AIDS thing got me really mad, because nobody don't want to pay attention to it. But they're pushing that on our kids. They're pushing it in the music. I've never seen rappers wearing blouses and dresses and lipstick and people keep saying it's just his choice. That's another thing I wanted to get on. It's just I want all the black mothers to, if you hear anybody who says this, punch him in the face. If anybody comes to you and say, well, that's his choice, whatever he wants to do, you got to let him do it. If that makes him happy, then let him do it, because it's his choice, and that's what makes him happy. That doesn't mean shit. That's the dumbest thing I ever heard. That's so stupid that I can't believe it. I don't care what anybody wants to do. It's not a man's job to do what he wants to do. Right? It's not a man's job to do whatever he wants to do. I don't want to go to work every day. Right? I don't want to get out of bed early and get ready for court and deal with all these clients, but I have to do what I have to do. I have a family. I want to lift weights, drink Pizza Rock, shoot guns, go fishing, and fight every now and then. Now, if I only did those things that I wanted to do, what the hell would I be? I'd be a fat, gun shooting, Ciroc drinking son. You see what I'm saying? That's got nothing to do with life. Do what you want to do. Okay, at some point, yeah, you do need to reward yourself and you do the things that make you happy. But that's after you done all the things that you need to do, that your family needs you to do, and that your community needs you to do. So this whole thing about, listen, okay, now how about this? Do what you want to do. Do what makes you happy. Almost every black man I know would love to have 10 black women, or 10 all kinds of women. If it was me, I'd have 10 black ones. I'd have had Serena before she did what she did. Beyonce, right? Marion Jones before she got caught up. I'd have had all kinds of women if I just did what I wanted to do. Damn it, you can't do what you want to do. It ain't gonna work. The hell you mean, whatever I want? It's not gonna work. You got to do what God tells you to do, what your family needs you to do, and what your community needs to do. And black mothers, if you out there telling your son to do whatever makes him happy, I hope you're ready for what the hell done come from that. When he's sleeping on your couch at age 30, because, hey, that makes him happy. He don't want to pay no bills. Zeke gonna get the hell out. Zeke already working. He's not gonna be here at no 25, 30 years old. Would it make you happy to be still sleeping on the couch at 30 years old? I'm glad it won't. But some of these people talking about do whatever makes you happy. So, okay, I got off on a little tangent, but parents, Google atrazine, BPA, and soy. All of these things are in our foods. Atrazine is supposed to be a chemical that kills pests on crops. Soy, they market it as healthy. BPA is in all the plastic products that we use. All of these things decrease male testosterone and increase their estrogen. In other words, it makes them more feminine and not masculine. So Google all of those. And now, this is the big one. I made a post about this and a lot of people got crazy. A lot of you black mothers go out and looking for mentors for your sons. And that's what you're supposed to do. They do need black male leadership. But when you're looking for a mentor for your son, you need to be so careful. Because nowadays, a lot of these guys aren't looking to mentor your son. They're looking to molest your son. Right? And even in the black church. Yes, I know people didn't think I would say it as someone born and raised in the black church who's a dedicated follower of Christ. But in the black church, there's an epidemic. An epidemic of what, Vern?
Homosexual. I just say males.
Males. There's an epidemic of gender confused black males in the church, and now they run it. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say it. There's an epidemic. If you look at the choirs and the choir directors, listen to me, because this makes me mad to say it. As somebody born and raised in the black church, I never would have believed that the young black men, let's just say 35 and under in the black church, would be more feminine, have better hairdos, and more makeup than the women. A black woman used to say, I want to find me a good black man. Let me go to church. You can't say that no more. Sorry. Not these new age churches. You got to go to one of them old fashioned ones, still sticking to that old teaching. But nowadays, I'm in Jacksonville. I'm in the South. Right? And I ain't got to name no particular churches because I don't want to have to use big dads. But there's an epidemic of highly effeminate. It's even black churches that got a pastor and a first gentleman instead of a first lady. Right? Reverend Wright's church in Chicago has a gay ministry, a gay singles ministry. Right? Yeah, things done changed. And I would never. You see these young men behind me? Have I ever signed y'all up to sing in the choir?
No.
And I never will. Because there's something going on with the choirs. Don't, if your son want to sing gospel songs, record him at home. Let him start his career at home. Because in these choirs, whoo, it's a demon. Let me say that this is a damn demon. Right? I'm just telling you now, when you're looking for mentors, you ought to look for mentors. But you got to make sure that these brothers are family men, that they're not just looking to sleep with you. I had a sister come to BPM, and she said she was in love with the program. I said, what you love about it? She's going to volunteer. She said, the main thing I love about it is that when the men came and talked to me about the program, they wasn't trying to sleep with me. They wasn't trying to take me out on dates. It was actually all about the kids. A lot of these dudes are saying that they're working with the youth, and they really trying to work with the youth moms. And I ain't talking about no outside work. I'm talking about bedroom work. Okay? So you got to make sure that brother is a family man. He's not trying to get in your bedroom, and he's not trying to get in your son's bedroom. Nah. Keep that in mind. Now let's close this out. It's two things I want to hit here. I'm gonna jump to the last one, move it up first. Never be stupid enough to turn away your son's dad if he wants to be involved in your son's life. If you're that stupid, you deserve. I'm not gonna say what you deserve, but I'm gonna say it like this: the main thing that black boys need besides God and knowledge of self is a dad, and that normally who teaches them about God and knowledge of self. They need that role model. They need that masculine energy. They need it. It's crucial nowadays. And if you have a father of your child and you're not with him no more, that doesn't mean a damn thing. Your daughters need them too, but right now we're talking about the sons. The sons need their dads. I don't care if he cheated on you, if you cheated on him. I don't care if you busted windows out his car, he busted windows out yours. I don't care if he owe you back pay on child support or if he got a new baby mama that you don't like. The sons need their dads, and you got to be the most vindictive, sick, despicable, selfish person in the world to be so immature that you would deny this man a relationship with his son just because he's not with you. Now, I wish he was with you because I'm all about the black family. But that's not the context we're in right now. If this man is willing to put in the time and the effort to make sure his son becomes a real man, and you gonna say, well, if he ain't with me, he ain't gonna see him. He'll see him whenever I feel like it. Whenever I feel like it. And if I don't feel like it, then I'll use the child as a pawn. You a dumbass. And you setting your son up for failure. Because it's no man that can play the role in his life as his biological father can. And I done seen now let me just don't think I'm going off on the black single mothers here. Because I've seen so many black single mothers that don't get their emotions involved. And they say, we've gone our own separate ways, but I got to do what's best for my children. And what's best for my children is to have a relationship with their dad. So I'm going to foster that. I'm going to encourage that. I'm not going to hinder that. There are plenty of mature black women out here who do that. I've seen them. I have met them. I commend them. But right now I'm talking about the immature, and they may not be watching this, but maybe y'all could send this to them. Just send this little part to them. I'm talking about the immature, stupid, selfish, short-sighted black women who still hurt, are still bitter, are still jealous because their dad is not with them anymore. And worst of all, this is the worst thing that the dad could do. Move on and be happy with another woman. Whoo, don't do that. And they say, you're not seeing your son no more. And this the main thing they say. I don't trust this other woman with my child. Shut the hell up. Half the time you leave the child with your grandma and your little cousins, you don't know where the hell the child at. Talk about you don't trust the child with a new woman. Right? Made up excuse. And dads do this too on the flip side. I don't want her. They do that. I don't want this new guy. Shut the hell up. That's stupid too. But right now we're talking about the mothers. Alright, if this dad is there willing and ready to put in time and money and energy into his children and you deny him, you're despicable. And I hope that dad hires me so we can take you to court. right? That's what your dads need to do. You need to start getting an attorney and playing the same game these women play. But single moms never do that. These boys need their dad, right? And last but not least, football. Why would I put football into the attacks against the young black males, Zeke?
Because it's another tool used to keep the black males from thinking outside the box. That keep them on one path, strictly football their whole life, and that's all they ever know.
Correct. There's nothing to show for it. Vern hit the nail on the head. Parents, when I was talking about attacks on young black males, I bet you never thought I would mention football, but I wrote a whole book on the subject. Nothing to show for it. You can get it on Amazon. Football is one of the worst things to ever happen to black people. Why would you say that, Vern? People get scarred. Let me tell you something. Football has destroyed more black men maybe than the war on drugs. Football takes our black boys and their parents. It takes their mind and attention off of God, education, family, and community, and it puts it on one thing, the gridiron. As long as this kid can bench press, jump 40 inches in the air and run a 4.4, he's good to go. The teachers will pass him, the parents will praise him, and they will take him on.